You're listening to the Inverted Creative Podcast. I'm Allison.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Jen.
Hello, everybody. It's Brian here. Just thinking and lamenting that it's the end of November. It's officially the off season for coasters, especially here in New England. That would be depressing enough. But then my two lovely co-hosts, they just, are going to Germany in the next week.
Whoops.
And 2 weeks for Jen. So I'm just doing great. How are you guys doing?
I can't imagine how you feel because I'm depressed that Allison only has a 1-day countdown and I have a 9-day countdown. So
That's true. By the time this goes live, Allison will already be in Germany.
When this goes live, I'll be on my plane back from Germany.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. We're recording this on Tuesday. We're recording a little early this week, obviously because of Allison's trip and Thanksgiving. But that's wild.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Not jealous at all, because you're going to Europe for the first time.
I am. And Jen for the second time.
For the second time, we're Europa Park.
Second time in like a year, 6 months, whatever it is.
It's like 6 or 7 months. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not obsessed with the park. It's fine.
When's trip number 3?
Don't even play. I already found a $400 flight in like 6 months.
I was going to say, there's probably a good chance you're going to go to Europa a third time before I go for my first.
Yeah, there's a very good chance.
I'm thinking July.
Yeah,
so...
I'm thinking May.
Good Lord.
I say I'll go back to Fantasia before I go back to Europa, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm going to give away all my things. If I do end up booking this, there's a very good chance I'd fly into Amsterdam and do Efteling, Phantasialand down to Europa and then back up to Amsterdam to fly home.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. It's all like a line right down to Europa Park and back.
I'm jealous of Efteling and Phantasialand.
Efteling is like, honestly, I already really wanted to go to that park, and then they opened a new attraction, which the attraction in itself isn't something that I was as interested in. Like, I am, but like, okay, it's a new attraction. The stupid little black cat plushie with the 2 different color eyes. Oh my goodness, that alone, I'm like, I need to go. I need this cat. I need it.
Sounds like I need it too.
It is so cute.
I was going to say, you literally have a black cat, so that seems like it would be perfect for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need it. You need to go to Efteling so you can get the little black cat plushie. It's so cute.
Also, I collect stuffed animals from European parks, so you guess I have to go to Efteling and get that. Or, send you to Efteling to get that for me.
I would bring you home one if I go. I don't know. I can't talk about it too much or my plans are going to just fall apart. Bad juju.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys, as jealous and envious as I am. I'm very excited to hear your reports, but not just here in New England. Anyone that lives essentially north of Florida and Texas, it's a sad time of year to be an enthusiast. Not much going on for the next 4 or 5 months now. What's that?
Unless you know how to plan and go get coaster trips still.
I mean, I do go to Florida every now and then. That helps, curb it. But as far as like coaster updates, I was talking with Allison before we recorded. Other than a roller coaster on a boat in February, which some people might not even count as a credit, that might be my only update until the spring, which is a sad reality. I know. But Allison, at least you got to go somewhere last weekend, I believe.
I did. It was a very short trip. Me and Mike and a bunch of friends went down to Atlanta, my old stomping grounds. We did a little Buzz Bars event down at Fun Spot, that's what it's called, and Six Flags Over Georgia. So I got a few rides. I also got a migraine when I was at Fun Spot, so I rode Airy Force a few times, and that was about it. and then went to over Georgia and rode Twisted Cyclone and Acrophobia, and that was it. So it was
I
very
mean, if you're a
not.
veteran of the area, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going to Six Flags for 20 years as my home park, so
I
and
do.
I got to go visit my dad when I was down there,
That's really sweet.
have lunch with my dad, so it was worth it.
I do want to say I feel like it is weird for someone to say I only got a few rides in Air Force. I feel like anytime anyone reports from Air Force, like, oh, I rode it 25 times, I rode it 72 times. I don't know how they do it, but I feel like that's a
Yeah,
ride that is just the most marathonable coaster. Probably because it's never a line, right?
yeah. I think
But
I got 3 rides in, and then a migraine set in, so I, went and slept in the car, so
when I was there, it had no line, but it was like over 10-minute dispatches. So
yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
that
know how anyone gets it just for the pure fact. I was there for like 4 hours and rode it like 3 times because it was just like I was in a line of like maybe 3 trains, and it was over a 30-minute wait every single time.
I believe that. When I was there, it was similar.
It
And
was
then
insane.
and then like the middle school groups came. I'm like, okay, this is not gonna be a good
Yeah,
day.
and yeah, because I was definitely there for 4 or 5 hours, and it was me and Brandon, and we had the dog, so we had to switch off with the dog, and then
Mhm.
it was like 30-minute waits because the dispatches were so slow. I was
Yeah.
like, this wait should have been top 10 minutes, and here we are. That's also yeah. I
I really need to get more rides in that thing because it was rainy when I went. It was like a 60-degree like October morning. Before the middle school kids showed up, it was literally just me and like 3 other people, and it was still great. But I feel like I still don't have like a true Airy Force opinion that I can really throw out there. We'll see. We'll see where it shows up if it shows up on my top 100 roller coaster list on my YouTube channel. Quick
yeah,
little plug.
there's something
I'm,
you need to plug.
yes, I'm doing a slow reveal of my top 100 coasters. I'm going 10 at a time. I just started last week. I'm already actually by the time this comes out, 4 parts should be out. Um, it's weird because I plugged this podcast on my last video, and now I'm plugging the video on the podcast.
Circle of life.
Jen, I'm assuming you haven't watched the video that came out today, correct?
No, I have
Okay.
been
I mean,
busy.
I could.
Sorry.
It's out there now. There is a spoiler. I actually used you to lead into plugging the podcast, and I said that
What?
Talon, unfortunately, did not make my top 100.
I quit.
Yeah, it was nice
Alright,
having you as a
Oh,
co-host. I understand if you need to
here,
leave.
hold
goodbye.
on.
That's the most incorrect take I've ever heard in my life.
I have heard you say, but it's still a B&M invert, and B&M inverts aren't my favorite model.
You
So
have no B&M inverts in your
I
top
have a
100,
few. No, I have, but
and that's the best B&M invert,
you
so
knew it wasn't my favorite though. I put Banshee over it.
what? What?
That was in today's video.
Actually, I'm
Yeah.
not quitting, Brian's fired.
I
What is this
mean,
for?
the layout is like it's so much longer and it's close. Talon's probably like in the 101 to 150 range. It's still like my top 25% of coasters.
I don't wanna talk about this anymore. Let's move on.
Dang.
You know what I find funny though? Bryant mentioned Talon at Dorney Park before Jen did today.
Look at that. Look at that. To be fair, I didn't say Talon at Dorney Park. You just did.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't think the whole name was used yet.
Well,
But however, both of you said Talon at Dorney Park before I did. Wow, what
well,
an
I
now
get
that that's out there, I think it's time for trivia.
well, before we get there, I did get a text from Alex before we recorded saying like you're so wrong for not having Talon. And I'm like, dude, because he has it in this like top 25. I'm like,
No,
you are drinking the Gen Kool-Aid way too hard.
as it
Like,
should be.
no,
However, I really am offended that Banshee is over Talon at Dorney Park.
it's
Like, I
close.
cannot even tell you how offended I am by that
Uh,
one because that is not okay. I
it's,
accept maybe Osiris, Black Mamba, top gone.
There's 4 more coming on my list. I can't reveal which, but
What the hell? Talon
Neither
is
of
doing
you, neither of you have been on Black Mamba.
I
no.
know, but I know Black Mamba. Black Mamba might be my one that tops Talon, just from
Kobe
like
Bryant Talon.
yeah, Kobe Bryant Talon. Just because some of my favorite things about Talon is like how low to the ground it is and how graceful it is in those senses, and Black Mamba does a lot of that as well.
It's phenomenal. I think
Yeah,
it's my favorite invert.
so I think Black Mamba is going to be up there for me. I've heard similar about Osiris. It stays pretty low to the ground and like gives very similar vibes to Talon. So I don't know.
Eiffel Talon, it's a solid ride.
Talon. Yeah, Eiffel Talon is
Yeah.
up there.
Not as good as Banshee, aka there you go. Osiris did not make my list either. Shocking.
Ooh. That is kind of shocking because I feel like everyone who's ridden Eiffel Talon is usually all for Eiffel Talon.
Again, like there's probably a lot of inverts I have in that 101 to 150 range because they're all good, just they're not one of my favorites. You gotta really like punch me with intensity for me to like love an invert or have a
So
really good
that's like
layout.
just a wrong take on inverts as a
Okay,
whole. But
well,
also Banshee being in your top 100 when you want to be punched with intensity and that thing is just like
you didn't ride it in the front. We rode it in the back.
that was
Banshee in the
like the
front is
most
awesome. Like
boring invert. Like it was weird.
you didn't call it boring. You liked it.
I liked it, but I liked it because it was weird and unusual. I didn't like it
I like
because
that too.
yeah, but I don't think there was any point where it punched me with intensity. Like I didn't gray out. I didn't like.
In the front, you do. It's 67 miles per hour or 68, I think.
Okay.
And
Now we're just gonna sit here. This whole podcast is gonna be me and
Banshee
Brian
versus
debating
Talon.
this.
And Talon's sign is not as good as Banshee's too.
I don't know. Talon sign is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just not Banshee.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh, get out of here.
we
done.
asked
Move
trivia
on.
question last week. I believe it was, what is the fastest roller coaster in Florida to have an on-board audio system? So some people guessed both Mako and Velocicoaster, which those rides are faster than the correct answer. However, neither of those have onboard audio, correct? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think we were all like had to think, wait, Velocicoaster doesn't have any audio.
No, it doesn't have
Yeah,
any
no.
onboard audio. Yeah.
So there actually were a lot of options in like that 55 to 65 mile per hour range. Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney is 57. You have Rip Ride Rocket hit 65 miles per hour. Hagrid's I think is 50. You got Guardians hit 60. I think Tron has onboard audio as well. That hits 60 miles per hour,
Well, am I
59.
allowed to take a guess? I think I know.
Sure, go for it, Jen.
Is it Hulk?
Correct answer is indeed the Incredible Hulk, 67 miles per hour. Prior to 2016, the answer would have been Rip Ride Rocket. But the Hulk 2, if you will, added some audio to the ride. So we have multiple correct answers. A lot of people, actually. We have Lom Lom Lom, Brothers of the Back Row, Kyle Boggs, Marty, and Alex. Do we randomly pick somebody, or we just congratulate all 5 of them?
I'm good with just like randomizing. I know Marty and
I like
Alex already both won.
Yeah, you should actually eliminate them.
I mean, they deserve a shout out, but
They were just shout out. Marty and Alex, there you go.
yeah. Stop getting our trivia right every single week.
Well, Alex will be like, oh, I got to be first. Probably he listens as soon as it goes live.
Yeah, Alex is already texting me at like 6:15.
Probably just speeds to the end. But yeah, we'll ask another trivia question at the end of this episode in relation to our guest today, which we are very excited to have on.
We are. Do you think is it about time to invite him
I
in?
think we should invite some Gabriel into this thing. What do you say?
I think that's a good idea.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Gabriel.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Immediately Ahsoka said that.
I literally just unmuted to say hello, and she was not barking before then. Hello, Ahsoka says welcome, Gabriel.
Well, hello, Ahsoka.
As she can She only knows how to welcome people. The best.
Super cute.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
No, for sure. Thanks so much for having me. This is exciting.
I'm very excited. You're like our first professional guest, and it's different for us.
Oh, well, we like professional. That
Yes.
works. I'll take that
I should
name
say
tag anytime.
industry professional.
Yeah, no, it's been an interesting few episodes. I've been listening to them on my commutes to and from work and around, and they've been keeping me entertained. So really great work.
Yeah. Love to hear that.
Thanks so much, Gabriel.
For sure.
Yeah, Gabriel, you should probably give us just a quick rundown about who exactly you are, what you do in this crazy industry.
For sure. Well, I'm going to give you a really abridged version of kind of my background. I was in retail, corporate leadership for 18 years. And at the age of 38, I left that business. But in that business, I was lucky enough to kind of hone into some things from a marketing and PR perspective that kind of fit well with this industry in my current role. And I've been in the theme park industry now for it'll be 4 years this coming June. So only 3.5 years. I've been in the industry. I've been an enthusiast my whole life. So that's like a given. And I would say that, in the time that I've been in this industry, I've probably learned more in the past 3 years than I have in my entire previous career when it comes to marketing, PR, social media, like the full gamut.
So, what is your official role at Sesame Place, and kind of what's a general overview of what you do there?
Yeah, so I am the social media manager and content producer, and that is that is a loaded question. Uh, I in my role, the initial iteration of my role was really just somebody who manages the content that comes in and out of the department and pushes through our social media channels. Um, what I've kind of evolved the role into is a hybrid role of not only social media management, but it's also content production and really identifying kind of what is the best content for the communications we're putting out there, and then taking that to the next step and really building a fan base based on that content. It's a little bit of a different role because many of our other social media managers are just social media managers and they have a content production team, whereas I am both of those roles.
I feel like one of the more intriguing questions that we thought of, and something honestly that I've always been interested to hear, especially coming from Sesame Place, because it's obviously a kids' park, but yet adults are going to be the ones probably seeing the content on social media. So, like, how do you balance those considerations of your audience when it comes to content creation?
Well, it's a very thin line between staying contemporary and speaking to our demographic, and also speaking to the trueness of the brand and kind of where the brand comes from. It really is about children, and developing content that speaks to them, but then also resonates with our demographic, which is 75% women the ages 24 to 35. You know what I mean? So if we're honing in on that specific demographic, how do you marry the two? And the perfect example would probably be something like, the video we did today, which was a video of our characters and a couple of our hosts that we have on our TikTok. And they basically did a whole thank you moment talking about the characters and their personalities and who they are in the show, and in their bios and who their backgrounds are. But then you've got a piece of content like we did the other day, which is themed out to when Gen Z writes the script, and that's speaking to the parents 24 to 35 years old. And you kind of flip flop between those two ideas of staying contemporary and up to date with the content, but then also going back to the roots of the Sesame Street brand and making sure we're keeping it in line with the brand for sure.
That Gen Z video, if you guys haven't seen it yet, it's really really funny. He did such a good job.
Dude, he was awesome. That's our VP of finance, and it's funny. He asked me, how should I read the script, and I was like, just be you,
Love
and
it.
it worked out perfect.
I just actually want to say real quick to make it just a little personal. I just realized I think Sesame Place technically was the first park I ever went to, even before I rode any roller coasters. I actually have a drawing that somebody did of me in a Larry Bird Celtics jersey, like one of those airbrushed drawings, and the date says, this is going to age myself, June 23rd, 1992.
Oh, that's
I
amazing.
was 4 years old, and it's still hanging right outside my room, back, at my parents' house. So
Well,
this is kind of a full circle that now I'm talking to the Sesame Place guy.
so we've got a piece of content coming up in a couple of weeks that you might recognize a couple of the photos that
Okay.
you may have submitted.
I did, yes. Very excited
Yeah,
for that.
so that actually goes in for review tomorrow, and
Excellent.
we should see that in the next couple of weeks.
That's
So keep your
incredible.
eyes out. See little Bryant.
Oh, yeah. Little
Oh,
4-year-old me.
awesome.
Sounds adorable. I want to see that picture.
I'll send it to
It's
you
super
after
cool.
we record.
That is incredible. Do you guys get to, like, I feel like I grew up near Sesame Place, so I feel like it's everyone's like first park, like that, or there's maybe one or two other ones I hear of. Do you guys market a lot towards that?
Well, yeah, we had our whole campaign for years is go before they grow, and that, in a nutshell, is realistically what the basis of the experience of our key demographic is. So in park, our demographic is children 2 to 7. Children under 2 can enjoy themselves. Children over 7 can enjoy themselves, but realistically, we're gearing our demographic and our communications towards the children 2 to 7. So when we're speaking to the parents, we're saying, listen, bring your kids here before they're too old, before they grow out of it. Create those core memories with your family, and we're going to give you the resource to do that. We're going to give you the rides. We're going to give you those character experiences and meet and greets. We're going to give you the shows and the parades, and really elevate what it is to walk through our gate and say, you know what, you're coming in at it with your children, which are extremely impressionable, and you want to create those core memories that really last a lifetime, just like Brian has, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hey, low key, that probably maybe started the, enthusiast genes in me. Like, oh, I'm having a really good day at a park. And, the next step was Disney. And then I guess the rest is history after that. So Sesame Place, absolutely. I didn't know it at the time. It might have started like my love of parks.
Oh, that's kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I do love that campaign idea because I know, like, when my sister was kind of contemplating when to take my niece to Disney for the first time, like, one of the considerations was, is she going to be too young to remember this? And like, sure, like that age, especially too, they're not going to remember it, but they'll have the pictures and then the family will have the memories all together of those moments. I think that's huge.
Yeah, for sure. I can think back to when I was a kid. My first park was Coney Island. Growing up in Brooklyn, and my father brought me on the Cyclone. He brought me on, the Jumbo Jet. But my favorite core memory of that is riding the Wacky Worm and riding through the Giant Apple. That is literally my very first memory of being on a roller coaster. And just like you, Brian, that's something that will stick with me for the rest of my life. I can remember being at that park. I can remember being on, that roller coaster with my father or with my mother, and we would go there probably once a month. I celebrated my first, like, I want to say like 5 or 6 birthdays where I was actually able to walk and enjoy the rides. We went there until I was like 7 or 8, and then my father started taking me to other theme parks.
Totally believe that. Yeah. I mean, with, at least as adult enthusiasts, sometimes like, why are parks investing in family areas and kids areas so much? We forget that's how we were shaped. That's
Well, I think it's so important for the future of our industry. You know what I mean? Not only of our industry, but of as enthusiasts as a whole. If we're not creating safe spaces for families and it's only for the current batch of enthusiasts, then what are we doing? Like, how are we developing the future of these experiences? And I really love the current renaissance of kind of the industry and the direction that it's going, with so many family rides and so many family areas being built out into the parks. I think it's a very much needed change from where we've been up until now, where it has been, monster ride after monster ride after thrilling ride, and then you have these kids areas that are just diminishing and getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and really those family experiences are what elevate the overall experience, I think, for everyone, and it creates, like I said before, it's those core memories that are so important and will keep families going back for generations to come.
Yeah, absolutely. We tend to forget how important it is to have everyone in the family entertained, not just the thrill seekers.
Yeah, we even entertain grandmas and grandpas. What do you mean? They love the characters when they come to our park. They're literally more excited than the kids half the time.
Oh, I love that.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
I love that so much.
So getting back into like the actual creative process of what you do in your role, what is that process kind of like for you? Like from pitching content, production and editing to getting that final version approved and posted?
Well, it's a big process. I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna try and lump it up as easily as I can, but it's kind of beefy. So it really stems to when anybody who steps into the creative seats of this company. Um, I was working with the IP that we're working with. It's really education, which is super important. We have a multifaceted process where it starts with the creation of the ideas, then it's the pitching of the ideas, and then it's there's a 3-layer approval level that we build out, so it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. When I first started with the brand, I sat down my first week, and our she's fantastic, Jen Martin. She's literally the head of Sesame for United Parks and Resorts. So she basically spearheads all of the creative, all the design, all the communications for Sesame, for each one of the United Parks and Resorts around the United States. And she sat me down and she gave me I was like 3 or 4 decks that were like 50 pages deep of how to edit the characters, how to build out the characters, how to do video work. I mean, we're talking about placement of fur. We're talking about positioning of the mouth, positioning of the eyes, being able to clean up wrinkles on legs and on arms, like really, really, really in depth. And it's to protect the integrity of the character, because we love our Sesame Street friends. You know what I mean? We want to make sure they look their best at all times in every way, shape, and form, no matter what medium we're putting them in. So that was really my first week, was just getting that download. And to be honest with you, I'm still 2 years in getting quotes and direction and alterations being asked on the assets we put in front of workshop, which is amazing. And it speaks to the dedication to that brand and keeping it at its highest and best form, from an outward messaging.
Um,
But
I'm sure there's an extra level of difficulty. It's like you don't have to. I'm sure, obviously, any other park you work for, you're going to make sure you're PG. But I feel like Sesame Place, you got to make sure you're G. Does that, is there any sense of frustration, like as an adult, like maybe something you might think is okay, and then you'll hear like, oh no, we probably shouldn't go that direction? Does that
Well,
ever
you know what it
happen?
is. I think it goes to the idea of trying to stay contemporary in our content, but also staying true to the Sesame Workshop messaging. And it's a very fine line to dance around, or to walk, I should say, not dance around. I think frustration wouldn't be the word I would use. I think it's more of a realization that there is a very clear message that Sesame Workshop is delivering, and we are an extension of Sesame Workshop. So for us to turn around and say, okay, well, we've got this piece of content or this idea, that's where the process really starts. We have to pitch that over to the Sesame Workshop, and it goes through on their end a multi-layer approval process. And we'll use TikTok as the example because TikTok's new, it's fresh. We actually just launched our TikTok this past May, and we're going strong, which I love. But each one of the pieces of content requires a very strategic process. So to start it off, we have a creative meeting. It's the entertainment team, the social team. We get together and we say, okay, we've got this idea, we've got this theme that we need to hit, right? And I'll use the example of Santa's Workshop, which is a piece of content that's coming out soon. We've got to do something about Santa's Workshop. What is the theme? What are we going after? I'm very fortunate to work alongside PJ Schweitzer. He is literally the creative genius behind Sesame Place and kind of the stuff that the park is bringing to the table for our guests from a theatrical standpoint, from a creative standpoint. And he sits down and we write the script, and he basically says, yep, you can do that. Nope, you can't do that. This is the best thing to do. He's been with the brand for so many years. He really knows how to, for lack of a better phrase, sesamatize what we're bringing to the table. which is amazing, you know. But that's really where that whole process starts. You know, it's a really an in-depth discussion about what is the theme we're going after, how are we developing that theme and communicating it, but still getting our message across that it not only speaks in the Sesame Workshop tone, but does what we needed to do, which is realistically sell tickets, right? And create a desire for the brand. You know, I come from high end retail. So one of the biggest things in my background has always been you're not selling the product, you're selling the emotion behind the product, right? So if you could tie into an emotional reaction from your guest or your following or whatever in your content and you create that visceral emotional reaction, you've got them hooked. And now you've created a desire for whatever it is you're bringing to the table. And I think the ideal conversation really comes down to, you know, how do we do that to adults with a children's brand? And it's getting that reaction from the child for the parent, be like, oh my God, I've got to get my kids there because they're going to give me that reaction when they go
That is so well said, man. You guys get it down. I love it.
I mean, it's, you know, it really is, you know, there's a passion behind it, right? I'm
For
passionate
sure.
about what I do. My team's passionate about what they do. And we've got a vision that we want to go after, you know what I mean? And going back to your point earlier about frustrations, you know, there is a vision there. And sometimes that vision doesn't align 100%. And we've got to course correct to develop the best product possible for both Sesame Workshop and Sesame Place.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't realize, like, I don't know why I didn't realize, but I didn't realize how much went into that. With it being the Sesame Street brand, which of course it makes sense. It's just
No,
not
for sure.
something that
Yeah.
the average person would really think about.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten to the point now where we talk about our layers of approvals, right? It starts, you know, internally with the marketing department, and then it elevates from marketing to brand or the in park brand, and then it goes from there to the Sesame Workshop, and then once Sesame Workshop approves it, I then send it to United Parks and Resorts for approval. So you're talking about it could be at most 4 layers, at least 2 layers of approvals before a piece of content goes out to the public.
Yeah,
How much does it change in that time? Like, has there been, like, some videos, like, where you pitch the concept and then it's just completely different by the time it finally comes out?
It has happened. It has happened. Yeah. You know, there's been 1 or 2 instances where I've said, you know, I want to do this concept. You know, I want to do this idea. It's okay, but these are the parameters you can talk about or do. These are the parameters you can't talk about and do. And at that point, we really decide: do we move forward with this piece of content, or do we say, okay, this is probably not the best piece or the best direction for us to take our social media channels at this time? So it happens. It happens, you know. And again, we're not going to highlight the frustration, but you know, you could, if you had that frame of mind, I could see the frustration happen for sure.
What part of your role would you say brings you the most joy in all of this?
For me, it's the kids. All right, so here's a fun story. So prior to working here, I could take or leave kids. I'm an uncle. I'm not a father. I'll never be a father. My passion with kids is being able to play with them, have a good time. You know, we hang out. We you know, I take my nieces and nephews to the movies. We do things, but then they go back to their parents. And so prior to working here, I could take or leave kids. After being here for the time that I've been and experiencing the literal joy on these children's faces when they're in the park and seeing them see these are their superheroes, these are their Marvel characters. You know what I mean? They walk into the park and they see Elmo, and it's like, you know, Angelina Jolie walked into the building, or you know, Ariana Grande, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's that moment where you're just like, wow, I'm a part of that joy. That for me, it's life changing. And now every time I'm in the park and I'm guest facing, my main goal is to make sure I try to interact with every single guest I come across, every single child that walk past. We talk about, you know, like for Halloween, every single child, great costume, love your costume. Do you like it? Tell me about it. So creating these emotional situations for the kids and really just elevating it. That for me brings me so much joy.
Love that.
I love that answer so much. It's especially in a place like Sesame Street where like they are really like the person that it's built for. That's such a good answer. I love it.
I'm sure
Um
Yeah, the kids are cute.
when I was a kid, I mean, I don't have memory of it. I'm sure my parents do. I'm sure the first time I saw Big Bird, I was like, "What?" Because I watched
Yeah.
Sesame Street. I watched that all the time when I was like 2 and 3. So that I
So I
totally
I
get
had that reaction when I first saw Snuffy.
that. Love that.
I have a picture of it. I'll give you a picture. I'll send
Yes,
it to you.
please.
I'm hugging Snuffy's trunk. It's fantastic. It's amazing.
Oh
He
my
gave me
god.
a hug with his trunk back. It was fantastic. He's the
Yes.
best.
I love that. That's incredible. Um, yeah, coming back to like the creating of your social media content. What is your favorite form of social media content? Do you prefer
Oh,
photography, videography?
so tough question because my background's in video. I started in video and in social media. You know, I had a YouTube channel prior to being in the industry, and I love editing video and creating. But as I've grown in my roles that I've been in this industry, my favorite form is photography because in photography, anybody could snap a picture, but not everybody could snap a picture that makes you go, wow. Right. And it's those moments where you capture the emotion in that second of snapping that photo where you're just like, okay, that is exactly what I saw. And I was able to create that emotion through that photo. Um, for me, that's really what it's all about. You know, I love taking photos. I love finding that moment, finding the lighting, and just getting that quick snapshot. And it's like you've now frozen that emotional moment in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I used to do photography for a school that I worked at, and, like, getting those pictures of kids experiencing life at its best moments, it meant everything.
Oh my god, and kids are so cute with the camera too. We had a photo shoot with a bunch of kids a couple weeks ago. We were doing it for a hidden disability sunflower. It's this program where it's as simple as wearing a wristband, and it just highlights to anybody who is in that business that you have a hidden disability. You may not be in a wheelchair, you may not be on crutches, you may not, be outwardly disabled, but there is a disability that you have. So we're taking this photo shoot. We're doing this photo shoot, and I captured, I would say, 3 or 4 amazing shots of these 2 children who have no background whatsoever in modeling, and I was blown away by how adorable they came out with these kids, and again, it's just capturing that emotional moment, and being like, wow.
Yeah. I actually on subject, but off subject as well. I also want to point out that you guys are the first park in the United States to actually take part in that as well. That's
That is
great.
correct. Yes, we are. Yeah. It's been really fun launching this, and I can't wait to actually get it uh in full rollout come next year. But yeah, we're the first one in the United States, and we're proud to hold that badge. We were also the very first park to be IBCCES certified as well, and our entire leadership team, we're all neurodivergent professionals. So we all are neurodivergently certified. So if there are guests in our park, which are more than welcome, that are autistic or on the spectrum, if they come into the park, every single person on our leadership team and every single person that works in our park is trained on how to assist anybody who's just differently abled.
That's incredible. I love
That's
It's
that.
really, really
amazing.
incredible. Yeah.
Being somebody who's neurodivergent himself, me, I can relate, and it's wonderful to be a part of a park that sees everyone. There's nobody who isn't seen. It's just everyone is seen, which I love it.
Yeah, I don't even know why I didn't think about this until you brought it up, but when you guys launched that post with the sunflowers, I like cried. I was so
Mm.
excited and seeing that inclusive I like lost it. I was like, this is the best thing I've seen out of US Park in
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful program, and I'm excited to see it grow. I'd love to see more companies in the United States really take this on. I think it's an amazing program to work in conjunction with IBCCES. I think both programs are really strong, and have the most amazing message, and really help develop inclusivity for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important in this field, in this hobby, I guess.
1000%. Yeah. So going beyond running social media, obviously, All four of us are enthusiasts of not just roller coasters, but amusement parks as well. And I was just wondering, do they go to you? Does the park ever go to you for advice about the park itself? And like, I guess, like, how in the know are you when it comes to decisions, when it comes to either new rides or shows or just changes around the park, if they value your experience as an enthusiast?
I think I'm fortunate enough to be on a leadership team that values everybody's opinion. You
Okay.
know what I mean? I think all of us that are in are in this park, we all work very diligently together to create an experience that drives the best possible outcome, right? And and I'll give the example. Next year's our 45th birthday. We are celebrating 45 years of Sesame Place, and we started that conversation as a leadership team back in May,
Oh wow.
and we're launching that in spring of 2025. But the conversation really includes all of the leadership, and we talked about logos, we talked about experiences, we talk about product launches, and building out what is the product launch gonna look like that coincides with this rollout of this tentpole event that's going to span over 6 months. This is a group effort, and everybody's throwing their ideas into the hat, and we're literally pulling them out one by one, saying, okay, is this feasible? Is this something that we could develop that is not only cost effective but also create the most, again, visceral emotion from our guests, and really take that party, that bash that we're trying to bring to the table for our guests, and really blow it out of the water, for lack of a better phrase. So not only my insight but everybody's insight is really taken into effect. I think when we talk about rides and experiences, me personally am not as 100% involved in the build out of that. I usually get brought into the projects towards the back end when we start talking about what does the outward communication look like, what does the development of the social media aspect of it look like. When we do new ride or new attraction rollouts, we have obviously huge bashes or parties that we throw for them, like it's a kickoff party or like the grand opening of something. And with that, we'll create an entire social media package and program that will go along with that. But outside of the actual building of these new attractions and new product, I personally don't have an exact role in until the very end of the project.
So it's not, hey Gabriel, we want a new ride. What do you think? You get to
Unfortunately,
pick.
not.
No.
Though I've got a few ideas in what would be great in this park.
Absolutely, I'm sure.
I know we have one question in our listener questions that is on those lines. But before we get into those listener questions, I have one more question for you that I know is asked a lot about Sesame Place. Is Wacky Taxi open today?
Wacky Taxi has been open very often this season, so I'm super
Yay.
stoked. I'm super stoked with our ops team. They've been doing an amazing job this year, really trying to drive the best experience possible for our guests coming into the park, for sure. So yes, Wacky Taxi has been open. It was open when I was there this weekend, so kudos to my ops team.
Is that like the most common question that you answer on social media?
No, the most common question is which character is out today. And usually it's
Okay.
a specific character. So is Abby Katabi going to be out today? Is Cookie Monster going to be out today? Or if we have a specific event or offering that we're giving for those characters, it's usually, okay, well, how do I get to see this character? I want to hug them.
Oh, I love that.
It's
I
super
feel
cute.
like every time Sesame Place comes up that someone's going, they're like, I already messaged their social media to ask if Wacky
And I'm the direct person who's responding. So
like my favorite thing. It's always like the first thing out of another Thursday's mouth when a Sesame Street's run up.
yeah, message me. Like, hey, what's going on? Is Oscar's Wacky Taxi open today? I will find out for you and I'll let you know.
We need the credit. We love
Yeah.
it.
That actually, so like, obviously you understand, but like, do any of your colleagues ever ask, like, why are these like 4 to 8 or more adults here without kids?
Oh, they get it.
Oh,
They
they
get
do
it.
get it. Okay.
So everybody in my leadership team across the park, in almost every department, has been in the industry for a very long time. I'll give my marketing VP as the example. She's been in the industry for 30 years. You know what I mean? So she gets it. She gets it. You know, she worked with me. She worked not with me, but she worked at Six Flags prior to coming here. I worked at Six Flags prior to coming here. So we get it. You know what I mean? We understand the community. They understand the community, and they mostly laugh at me because I'm the one with the giant roller coaster posters and calendars all over my office.
As you should. I mean, I guess not everyone that listens to this might not be an enthusiast. For those that don't know, like, Oscar's Wacky Taxi is a legit, like,
It's
airtime machine.
legit.
It's not this kiddie coaster, really. It's
It's
really,
got like
really
the
good.
most 11 pops of airtime on that sucker.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I need to
I
get
want to
back
ride
to
it
that.
so bad.
No, I have not.
Well,
And
we got to make a trip then. Hello.
I'm sure that's a lot of kids' first coaster, that or Vapor Trail. Like, a ton of kids. That's
No, for sure.
Where I don't have Oscar's Wacky Taxi, guys, I do have a snow ride on Vapor Trail.
Ooh,
That's pretty epic.
I
don't have a
know,
snow ride
right?
on anything.
I don't even have that.
I have a snow ride on Vapor Trail. So I can at least say that. No Wacky Taxi for me. But a snow ride on Vapor Trail. It was the most beautiful. It was like during the Christmas season, so all of the Christmas lights were on. It was the
I
last
love it.
15 minutes of the park day. Oh my gosh, it was the most beautiful little snow ride ever.
I have to say, of all of the events that we throw, I have two that really stand out to me. My number one is Christmas because of the lights, and the tech team does an amazing job setting up the lighting throughout the park. It's fantastic. My number two is Mardi Gras because hi beignets, hello.
Don't blame me there. Oh my god.
You just love beignets. But yeah, the Christmas lights, I remember going to that. I had only gone to that park in the summer before, like as a child. And I had no idea the Christmas was like that done up in that park. So going in there for the first time for Christmas, I was like, I have to just walk through this park. It's beautiful.
Our Christmas parade is literally the best thing I've ever experienced. When I have to film the Christmas parade, because I film the parades every single season. For every tent pole, we have a new parade. We do one for Mardi Gras. We do one for all of summer. We do one for Halloween. We do one for Christmas. So at the kickoff weekend of each of those tent pole events, I filmed the full parade. Me and Sean, who is my right hand, he's like an amazing editor, fantastic, right? So we run up and down the parade. So we filmed this parade 2 weeks ago, and I spent that entire 20 minutes with a giant smile on my face from ear to ear. And after the parade, half the entertainment team came up to me and were like, dude, are you okay? I was like, yeah, why? It's like, you were like laughing and smiling and singing the whole time. I was like, of course, why not? I can have fun too, even though I'm working. Hello.
How do you not have fun working in a theme park?
Seriously, you're missing the mark if you're not having fun.
Yeah.
Well said.
I think that might bring us over to listener questions.
I believe so,
Sure
yes.
does.
And we got a good amount here, as we do.
We
Thank you
do.
again to everybody for all the support with your questions so far. It means the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, we have a few that were kind of answered already, but we'll jump in and start with our friend Ethan, who is with us at a Great Adventure for those week before rides on King of Cobb. But he asked, "What's your favorite Sesame Street character and why?"
Ernie. That's just Ernie. When I was a kid, I had an Ernie doll that my father bought me, and I spent every single second of my childhood with that doll. And I think my first bout of association being like doll TV, doll. Oh my God, I have that. That's on TV. Happened because of that doll. But yeah, so Ernie, he's a total G. We love him. His roommate Bert is another G with his paper clips and penguins for sure.
Oh, I need to, my mom has a picture somewhere. Again, 3-4-year-old me with Ernie, and like there's like a bathtub that you stand behind. I need my mom to send that to get.
That is a big thing. That is a big thing. From a history perspective, if you have been coming to the park for many, many years, we're actually, as we're digging through all of our nostalgia stuff for next year for the 45th birthday, we've got hundreds of photos of people coming taking photos with that Ernie in the bathtub.
Wait, it's still there?
No, we don't have it there any longer.
Oh, okay.
We have it somewhere, but it's not in the park.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna age myself again. I'm pretty sure my favorite was Elmo, and that was before Tickle Me Elmo came out. I was on the Elmo bandwagon before he got popular. I just want to make that point.
Oh, you're the trendsetter. That's why.
Exactly.
Hello.
One of my family's like favorite stories to tell is that like my brother for like years would not talk. Like he would say like A for something, B for binky, D for drink. Like he said letters and that was it for like years. Except the only word he knew was Elmo. He would just yell
Aww,
Elmo like through our house and like it's I don't know.
that's really cute.
He apparently knew how to talk. He just was smart enough not to talk in front of my parents, so they thought he only knew how to say Elmo for like years and years. So Sesame
Oh,
Street is a
that's
big deal
great.
in my house.
Oh, it's fantastic. Uh,
Let's get to another one here. Um, this is a good one, kind of about setup to what you're doing here. So Gary asks, what sort of training or coursework would you recommend for those who have aspirations to do the same type of work that you're doing?
that's a great question. And thinking back to kind of me stepping into this role, I really think what kind of sets me up for success is having the background and the knowledge that I have with the Adobe Suite and being able to build out the content. I think the social media manager role has evolved to such a level of creation, just as much as it is managing the content and having a strategy to really develop the best content possible. Um, and the biggest thing that I would say really is just getting to know the tools that need to be used, getting to know how to um, build out content on TikTok, how to build out content in Premiere Pro. I took an entire, I mean, Daniel Walter Scott, he's an Udemy professor. He does updates to all of the new updates that happen for the Adobe Suite, and I'm signed up for his courses and I get free training every time there's a new update. He puts out a new thing, so that's a free plug, Daniel. You're welcome. Uh, but I would say, yeah, for sure, definitely the Adobe Suite. I think learning analytics is super important. Meta has a really amazing analytics. The Meta Suite. It's fantastic. If you could really learn how to manage that portion of the business, I think that's 50% of kind of what it is to manage this particular role and to develop a successful content strategy. And I think same thing for TikTok. And if you're into it, YouTube. YouTube analytics is where I got my start when it came to really digging deep into the projections and kind of identifying where the channel or the content is, where it needs to be, and what is the steps that need to get there. And then just digest as much content as possible. I think one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten is if something's working, write it down. Write it down and figure out how you can fit it to your niche. And I think that is probably, I don't want to say my claim to fame, but that is one of my best strategies outside of the analytics and really driving um, uh, clear performance growth year over year.
That I think perfectly leads into our next question from Chris Cpred. Um, he asks, "Have you planned or implemented a generative AI to assist with the creative process, either idea generation, image enhancement, or data analytics, as you just mentioned?"
So well, let me preface this by saying I think as the world continues to change and grow, obviously every industry is going to have to change and grow. I think that's super important. I think there are aspects within this particular role where AI fits. I think from a creative standpoint, I don't know if for me right now it's the best fit, because then why am I here? Right. And I think that's really my biggest qualm right now with AI is
Mm-hmm.
where does AI fit from a creative's perspective? I think when you had a bunch of those creative apps come out a couple of years ago where they were creating these paintings and this digital art and all this other stuff, all the digital artists got very upset.
Sure.
And it was like, well, then what's the point of us? Like, this is stealing our work, this is stealing our stuff, because it uses everything that's on the internet that's already existing, and then that creates the digital art from the AI. So I think if you're looking at copywriting, if you're looking at content generation and content creation, utilizing AI from a creation standpoint, to me, I feel like is almost cheating. But if you're talking about analytics, if you're talking about looking at strategies and identifying strategies and building out what's best in line for your brand, in line for what you're bringing to the table, I think that is probably the smartest use or application right now, in my opinion. And I think, in all honesty, it's the best, because if you're having it create your content for you, then what are you doing? Like it's just, I don't
Totally
know if it's
agree.
more of a personal
Yeah. No, I'm
response
with you
there.
there. Like AI scares me still.
Oh, agreed, for
It-
sure, for
it's
sure.
I'm like, how does it know how to do all this? I'm also an idiot when it comes to that, but I am fully on board with your response there. It's very true. It is, I feel, stealing some thunder away from a lot of people, and it's not right.
For sure.
Yeah, I do graphic design for my day job, so we do have a lot of conversations in our art room about AI and kind of where its place is for us. And like, there are definitely some good times to use it, but then other times where I'm like, I might lose my job because of this.
Yeah, no, it's scary, especially with the Adobe Suite and what the Adobe Suite is doing right now with AI. It's blowing my mind. Absolutely blowing my mind. And there are uses there for it, but I think it's crazy to see full on productions being built by AI. Just taking a bunch of clips, throwing them in a machine, and the machine's really just building the movie or the clip or whatever you're putting together. It's wild.
Yeah, it's insane. Very interesting.
Scary, but interesting.
Yeah.
Scary but interesting topic.
So our friend John Mike asked, what has been your favorite aspect of being able to work with the Sesame Street IP?
The IP is fun. This IP is fun. It's a lot of work, and like I was saying before, with the nuances of making sure it really matches exactly how it needs to look to represent Sesame Workshop is super important. But the IP is fun, and I think with all the advances in the past couple of years that the brand has been taking from a contemporary perspective, and kind of being everywhere, being in the Olympics, being on the news, having these viral moments with Andrew Garfield and that viral Twitter moment where Elmo just asked everybody, "Hey, how's everyone feeling?" And it turned into this like global phenomenon. I think there's a lot about this brand that just is fantastic. It's very exciting, and it's very hip and now. And even though it is a children's brand, it's super contemporary. And I think that brings us full circle back to the beginning. How do you tie it all together? You keep the conversation moving. I think it was just yesterday, Cynthia Erivo was on Sesame Street, and she's all over their socials right now. And I think that's exactly how you do it. And that's what makes this so fun, because it's hip, it's now, it's in the conversation that the rest of the world is having, and it's in tandem with that.
Do you have to like watch the show on a regular basis? Do you feel to do your job or
Yes, sir.
No, but you do have to know the characters. You have
okay?
to know the characters. You have to know what their background is, what they're about, and kind of how they're represented, right? Because if I'm going into the park and I'm filming them, doing whatever, I need to know that Zoe's a ballet dancer, so I'm going to ask her to do a ballet pose, like a plie or something, and I know that if Tango's out, there better be an Elmo nearby because Tango's Elmo's best furry friend. They're furry friends forever. So there's these little nuances of storytelling that happen within the Sesame Workshop IP that we try to emote through our content. Um, and I think it's really important to have that background and have that knowledge. There are some characters that still, I'm with the brand for 2 years and I don't know their full story. And then you'll get somebody like PJ who will be like, "Oh, well, by the way, this character does this because of this," or like this. I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's good to know," because that would create a great piece of content.
Love that. So good.
Yeah, that's one interesting thing I've always thought about Sesame Street. They do very beautiful character development, and I can imagine that helps a lot in telling their stories in the form of content.
Well, they're so deep. It's like having, like real people with you. Their backstories, are years and years and years and years of development. And these characters, they're like brothers and sisters to some of our fans. They're a part of their family. And having that knowledge really helps us to deliver the best message possible for the brand. And again, evoke that emotional response. That's what we're doing at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is bringing us to our last listener question here. We have Mullet, who asked if you could build a new coaster at Sesame Place, what would you build?
I would like a Vekoma family coaster, please. I'd like a Great Bear, thanks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
It is. I am, and I'm going to Dollywood next year. My mother's in her 80s, so I'm taking her next year to Graceland and to Dollywood. And it'll be her first time going to Graceland. And I was like, we're stopping in Dollywood, right? Because I got to ride Great Bear. But yeah, so that's like, for me, I think that would be the perfect coaster. Do I think it's the perfect ride for the park right now? No, I think there are some other rides that would work really well. If you're familiar with the Sesame Street Dark Ride, and I think it's Fantasyland, maybe I might be lying, or maybe it's Port Aventura.
I don't think Sesame Place is at Fantasyland.
Yeah, I think
so Miss
Port Aventura
Fantasyland, you would know.
Right.
No, I'm pretty sure. I think it's Port Aventura. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's literally the most amazing Sally Dark ride I think I've ever seen.
AKA, we need that in the States.
Yes,
that would be great.
I also love when a park puts in a good dark ride. Like I know like Disney and Universal do it a lot, but I feel like we don't get it as much.
We definitely don't. No, it's
smaller parks and different chains, and they're so good.
Yeah, they're definitely needed. Like I think of what Volcano at Lost Island,
right? Yeah,
it's phenomenal. Yeah. It's a tiny park, but it's a phenomenal dark ride that adds so much to the.
Yeah,
another bucket list park on my very long bucket list. I've got to hit the whole Midwest. That's what's going to happen.
Well, speaking of, I guess this is now the roller coaster portion of this chat. I know we both share a love and admiration for a roller coaster called Boulder Dash. I want you to talk about your rides on Boulder Dash, how you've experienced that attraction in your career.
You are an evil man.
I'm sorry, Gabriel. I had to.
So I've been to Lake Compounce 4 times. Every single time, I've not been able to ride Boulder Dash for one reason or another. It's either been closed, it just closed, or the entire sky opened up and literal rivers were flowing through the park and washing everything away. I have no luck.
I did want to tell the story. So we were, I was with Gabriel this summer, along with Sarah and Taylor from Coaster Studios. They were up here. We did a little trip to New Hampshire, and the day they were leaving, like, hey, let's just go to Lake Compounce real quick. Gabriel's still in town. We went to Great Escape as well. So let's go to Lake Compounce. You had never been on Boulder Dash. Let's finally get on Boulder Dash. It was fine when we arrived. We went to ride the Ghost Hunt shooter. We literally get to the car. My wife, Megan, literally steps as soon as she steps her foot into the vehicle, the power goes out completely. And then the skies, just as Gabriel just mentioned, it was like a Florida hurricane rainstorm. It was
wild.
I've never seen that in Connecticut. So we're just waiting. Eventually the power comes back on. We're just waiting we were there, like almost an hour?
Yeah.
And eventually they decide to close the park for whatever reason, and it's still downpouring. And we felt bad because like they were technically, the employees were waiting for us to leave, I think. So we're like, all right, guys, we gotta rip the Band-Aid off here. So
and the best part of it all is up until that point, every single time I hung out with Sarah and Taylor, it poured.
That's true. So is it your fault or is it their fault? I think it's their fault, honestly.
It's totally always their fault. It's never my fault.
I don't know. 2 of the 3 other people on the podcast have went to Lake Compounce with Brian and not gotten to ride Boulder.
That's a good point, Jen.
So,
maybe it's me. I think it's my fault.
I mean, if there's precedence here.
I want to say I've taken 5 different friends or groups of friends to lake compounds over the last few years, and I think only one of them got to ride Boulder Dash.
Wow.
It's awful. So it's lake compounds' fault.
You know,
Let's blame
you
Lake
weren't there the day that I rode Boulder Dash.
That's probably a good thing.
That's
If I
probably good
went,
for
you all
Brian.
wouldn't have gotten that ERT. It would have closed. But yeah, so we literally just all take our shoes off and are sprinting through lake compounds in the pouring
As
rain.
rivers of water are flowing underneath us. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
It was a horrible park day, but it made for some really good memories. So.
Good memories. Good memories. It was a good weekend, even though it rained every day of the
That's
weekend.
true.
It was a great
we
weekend.
had a great time at Great Escape as well. It was nice riding Bobcat with you, considering it's another Gravity Group family coaster.
Well, it was great to see the differences in the coasters. You know, they're very, very different rides. I think the best part of Oscars is it's very low to the ground. It's very hoppy. You know, you've got these very sharp, jolty pops of airtime, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's my kind of coaster. You know, give me a Mystic Timbers, give me a Twisted Timbers. You know what I mean? Like, that's my kind of coaster. I will fight you. Give me a Wildcat's Revenge. You know what I mean? I like them mid-size to small size, compact, and knock me out of my seat. But then you got Boulder Dash, which has a little bit larger of a profile in some of its elements, and I really like the floater airtime and sweeping effects you get out of the double ups and the double downs on that one. It was such a great ride.
One of these days we'll get you on it. I think you and Jen just need to come together so you both can finally get it.
Yeah, I need that ride. I need Oscar's Wacky Taxi too. They're like my 2 biggest missed credits.
So you tell me when you want to come, and we'll make it happen.
I will be back soon. I'm purchasing. I took a year off from my United Parks pass, and I will be purchasing a United Parks pass again this year. So.
Megan got a United pass this year, and she has actually not been on Wacky Taxi, so.
So we might be taking a trip, guys.
We might need to make a trip next spring.
Yeah,
I love that story.
And Megan does miss you too, Gabriel. She really enjoyed you.
Oh, we love her. We love her. And I was right about the Star Wars series, by the way.
You were. That that's true.
I was very right.
Wait, what is the Star Wars talk?
So there was the Acolyte had just come out when we were all together up at Great Escape, and that was the first conversation that we had. We were talking about the Acolyte, and it was just like, I don't know. You have to make your own decisions, but and it didn't last more than a season.
No, it did not.
No. Me and Megan, like, our whole entire feed on Instagram is just Star Wars.
Oh, fantastic! I've got an entire Star Wars Lego collection. What do you mean?
It's nothing but Star Wars. I love it. We just send occasional memes back and forth.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's true, Gabriel. You do have other hobbies outside of this industry. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I am a video gamer. I love video games, and my current obsession is Planet Coaster 2. I don't know if you've seen any of my stuff anywhere, but my handle on YouTube is Coaster Monkey Studios. If you ever want to go watch a video and just kill some time and have it play in the background, go check it out. It's super fun. I nerd out hardcore on coasters. I'm actually building B&M Hyper right now. That's a hybrid of Nitro, Candemonium, and a little bit of Goliath. So why not?
That's like 3 of my 4 favorite hypers right there.
Samesies.
Love that.
But yeah, so that's one of my major hobbies. And the other one is Lego. I've got something like 40 Lego sets thrown throughout my house right now, which is kind of crazy. But yeah,
I have enjoyed a lot of your Lego videos for sure.
Yeah, my Lego videos are definitely wild.
Shenaniganolandia? Is that what your current
bingo? Yes, you said it right. I had somebody say to me, that is a mouthful, but it's totally legitimate for a channel that you would make.
I love that.
Amazing.
It's just fun to say that. Shenaniganolandia.
Yeah, for sure.
It is a mouthful. No one would forget it though once you remember it.
No, for sure. It's so in Planet Coaster 2 right now the whole thing is like water park focus. So they have this whole tiki theme, right? It's all tiki Polynesian. So I was like, you know what? Let me make a tiki park. So we called it Shenaniganlandia. We'll have a water park that's a little bit of Hurricane Harbor, a little bit of Lost Island, and the theme park is a little bit of Lost Island meets Six Flags, if you will. I don't know. I'm just having fun.
Well, Gabriel, I think, of all people I've met, like your energy and passion, I think just comes through so much, not just like talking to you in person, but I really think on this podcast as well. Like you are so well spoken. You can tell that, you love your job and just thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's an honor and a privilege, to be honest with you. I appreciate being asked for sure. We're very excited here.
Anything else that you want to kind of finish off with, or any other channels you want to plug?
Well, I think if you guys are into it and you want to kind of see what we're bringing to the table, definitely check out Sesame Place, where it's literally Sesame Place on everything. There's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Just check us out, kind of see what we're bringing to the table, and you can really see everything we talked about today is delivered in that content, and you can kind of see basically the directions that we're bringing our channels and kind of the story that we're telling. So Sesame Place, anywhere you can find us.
I love it.
Perfect. I think that brings us to the end, which means we're going to be brought to Brian's trivia question.
I always forget about that trivia question. What the heck?
You
However, I did remember to at least think of a question this time. So, it's always going to be themed a little bit towards the topic of the episode or our guest. So Oscar's Wacky Taxi opened in 2018, I believe, which is still the most recent wooden roller coaster to open in Pennsylvania, which is a very, very heavy roller coaster state. Fun fact, if Pennsylvania was its own country, it would be third in the world for most wooden coasters, which is kind of wild. So the question today is, let me word this correctly. I don't want to ramble again. After, or I should say before Wacky Taxi, what was the most recent wooden coaster to open in Pennsylvania? So technically the second most recent wooden coaster to open in Pennsylvania. There's your question of the week. Gabriel, feel free. You can guess down the line if you'd like. You can be in the running. Love it. For those that know, he's like, I don't know, shrug.
Yeah, no, that was a total shrug moment.
Leave the dips.
I don't know.
That's obviously the
I have
answer.
no idea. I feel like it's Knoebels. I don't know why.
It might be.
Knoebels.
It might be.
Might be.
I don't know. Remember to submit your questions to the Inverted Creative Podcast social pages, guys.
Hopefully, I will remember to make the episode post on time, considering I will be 6 hours ahead whenever that goes.
That's true. We'll post at what? At noon. You'll be up at noon.
Yeah, noon. You'll be fine.
I'll be somewhere between Germany and Switzerland. I don't remember when we fly back. So
how terrible.
I know.
Oh,
I will try to make
first
a timely
world problems.
post.
Some of us will be here waiting another 2 days to go to Germany.
Oh, well, have a safe flight.
Oh, thank you.
Have fun.
That's true, everybody. Well, you'll be home by the time this goes live. So have a good trip. And I guess everybody welcome Allison a safe journey home, I guess. Oh my gosh.
I do have one last question for Gabriel. What is your number one roller coaster?
Ooh. Okay. This is a tough question, but realistically, it's Velocicoaster.
Yes.
And I will fight for that one.
You don't have to fight here. It's all ours.
I've never experienced anything like it before, and I think it is a modern marvel, and I think it needs to be studied what they created.
Yes.
Yup.
Thank you.
Yup.
All right. Well, we'll end the podcast there.
Yup.
Yeah. I literally rode that coaster, and before it was even open, had a tattoo of it on my body. Like,
Of course you did. That's fabulous.
there is no other coaster that I think could ever make someone do that. Like,
Yeah, I feel
It's
it.
so good. It's so good.
it is
So
the most
good.
beautiful creation.
Agreed.
We need to have just a Velocicoaster episode one of these days. G Prodigy, if you're listening, we want to have you on.
Please,
Prodigy.
please. Alicia, Stella, you too.
Aw.
Well, Gabriel, once again, thank you so much. You are the best.
Thank you. Will you
Thank
tell
you,
Elmo I
guys.
said hi?
Of course. I'm actually going to be with him tomorrow.
Fantastic. Then listen to the Inverted Creative Podcast. where
Of course.
we say wholesome things about him.
We love him.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for always thinking inverted, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.